to what you tell writers, because you are a writing coach. So how does that work? What kind of services as a writing coach are you providing?
Well, I'm quite new at being a writing coach, but what I do is I try to figure out, usually I have a conversation with writers in the beginning where I talk about, where they tell me kind of what's working for them and what isn't working for them. And we try to kind of work on the stuff that isn't working, like how we can get it to work. So if that's like feeling a lot of resistance to working or procrastinating, or if it's like I can't come up with ideas, or I don't know how to write a whole book, like I don't know how to sustain a story over the course of a novel, an entire novel, or my characters are feeling flat, or whatever it is, then I kind of tailor it to what that particular writer is going through. And so what we do is I have a weekly session with them, which is like a Zoom session, and we chat for an hour. And then after that, I send them notes from our chat, and then also exercises for the following week. And then we check in the next week after they've done the exercises that I set for them. And the exercises will be targeted based on what they're struggling with. But yeah, I'm not the best writing coach for every writer, but I think for people who write intuitively and who are pantsers, who feel anxious about pantsing, I'm a pretty good person to have in your corner, because I know what it feels like to be anxious about pantsing. And I also have created a lot of strategies for myself to get going, even when I feel stuck, or I don't know what's going to happen next, or I need to like come up with an idea. And like I said, in the beginning of my writing career, when I decided I wanted to be a novelist, I really felt like I didn't know what to say. And so I really love working with writers to help them to find their voices. The thing with writing is that no one can tell you what to do. No one can tell you what your stories are or what your voice sounds like. You have to discover it for yourself. So having a coach is kind of like just having a guide along that journey, so that you don't feel alone and you don't give up, so that you can actually get there and get to a point where you start to have more confidence and you start to kind of know yourself as a writer.
So obviously that involves all kinds of personalized things that will come up in an individual situation that we can't hope to touch on in a podcast. On the other hand, anytime I can get a little taste for free, I'm interested. So let's say I come to you and I'm anxious. I'm not able to write every day. For whatever you come up with the reason why I can't write every day, and then tell me how we might address that specific problem, and we'll still leave plenty of secrets that people need to come and pay money for.
Cool. Okay, so what I would say is I would ask you, why do you feel like you have to write every day?
Because I want to be a professional, famous author.
Okay. Yeah, because I mean, so the thing with writing is that there is this idea that you have to write every day. And certainly in the beginning, when you're forming the habit of writing, it really helps to say, I'm going to check in every single day, even if it's just for 10 minutes. So I would say if you're struggling to write every day, it's probably because you're setting a very high standard for yourself. You're probably thinking, I have to write 3,000 words every day, or I have to write for an hour or 45 minutes every day. And to make it lower stakes for you, I would say if you want to write every day, get a timer of some kind, like an egg timer, or use the timer on your phone, and tell yourself that every day at a particular time, usually first thing in the morning, if that works for you. Usually first thing is much easier for people because it's like you get it off your to-do list first thing. But set aside 10 minutes a day and put your timer on. Have some kind of prompt or something that you're going to start with, so that you're not just staring at a blank page, and just write for 10 minutes, just 10 minutes. And then once you've done that, if you're feeling energized and you feel like you can continue and you want to do another 10 minutes or another 20 minutes, then that's awesome. But if you don't, then you've done that 10 minutes and you can tick that off, and you can feel a sense of like achievement and confidence, and that you've given time to this thing that's really, really important to you. So yeah, a couple of things help if you're struggling with that resistance. Timers, doing things first thing in the morning when you have a lot of energy still, or a lot of, I mean, the thing is, it's particular to every person. So if you're the kind of person who gets a lot of creative energy in the evening, then of course do it in the evening. But if you wake up and you do something first thing in the morning, you're telling yourself, this is important to me. I'm committed to this thing. If you do your writing after you've answered emails, watched YouTube, I don't know, done a whole bunch of other things, then often you feel really depleted by the time you get to the writing. So find a time that works for you and use a timer and just break it down into really, really tiny steps. If you only want to write 100, if you can only kind of write 50 words or 100 words a day, that adds up. You don't have to spend 3 hours writing in order to call it like a good writing day.
But don't I have to tweet and update YouTube and Facebook and Instagram and all those things that are going to show that this is the post that'll make me a famous author?
Well, the most important thing about being an author, as you know, is writing your books. So if you don't have any books to promote, then, then that's not going to be good. So you need to write the books. And like obviously social media it's wonderful to be able to connect with people on there and share things, but it also, you compare yourself to other writers, or you get, I don't know, like dread and anxiety, and you see an article about something horrible that's happened in a distant land, and you feel terrible about it. And all of that stuff is taking away energy that you could use for your writing. So if something's a priority to you, definitely do it before Twitter, I would say.
Unfortunately, I'm in the United States, so these days all the terrible things are happening right here.
That's true. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. Hopefully that will change soon.
Okay.